Hello and welcome to my podcast. In this episode, I'm talking to the comedian Mo Omar, and the reason why I don't prepare questions beforehand. So obviously I do my research about every guest that I have, but I don't prepare questions because you never know where the conversation will take you, and that's the exciting part about this podcast, for me at least. And so this conversation was a little bit about everything and anything, and it was a lot of fun for me, and I hope that for more as well. And well, he definitely learned about Moldova now, but I hope you do enjoy this. Just a quick note, this podcast was recorded on the 8th of October 2020, and the current events that we discussed that day might have not been current anymore at the time when you're listening to this. Also, but I'll put a note during the podcast as well, I did say some wrong information about Moldova, but I corrected it in the podcast. So yeah, just keep an eye on that because I just didn't know. But anyway, I hope you do enjoy this. And Mo is a very smart and very funny comedian, and he has a lot to talk about, so enjoy. And the podcast started with the usual Zoom question. Do you hear me?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi there. Yes, perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yes, good. How are you?
Brilliant. I'm good.
Oh, first of all, I don't know what I was thinking to tell you first at 10 a.m. I mean, I'm an artist and you're a comedian. My brain only starts working after lunchtime, so I don't know. I was saying 10. I'm like, wait, why did I say 10? Like, I don't think
it's so
before
early.
12.
But it seems everyone makes, like, I was meeting my agent at 10:30.
Yeah.
But she works for a living. So like she's an actual human being. So I can't complain to her. But if a friend ever asks me to do something online with them, like a Zoom or anything, and they have the audacity to ask me before 2 p.m., I rebuke them. I rebuke them and I remind them, we did not get into this to do this. Like, Descartes, Rene Descartes, he died from waking up too early.
Oh my God, I did not know that information. I'm going to use it from now on.
So he basically was a tutor for this princess,
and
she demanded that she have all her lessons at like 7 a.m.
Wow.
This story is apocryphal, which is a word I learned today, which basically means it might be untrue. Which basically means this might all be lies.
Yeah.
But
we like this story already.
Yeah, the story works for us. So he basically was getting up so early that his body went into shock.
Oh.
And I try to remind people of that when they ask me to wake up too early. Do you want to kill me? Is that what you want?
I know what you mean, because honestly, until I have lunch, like the first part of the day, I literally can't think. And I used to have an office job and I have no idea how I used to operate. That's why I always ended up being depressed, I think. Because
but we didn't operate. People don't function, like they say, for the work week, for the work day, only about an hour and a half is actually functional work. That's being done continuously. Everything else is people faffing around. Like my favorite opening is by this comic called Tony. I've forgotten his name. He goes on stage and he just doesn't start straight away. He just puts his coat down and he like puts his hat on the mic stand. And then and the audience are looking at him for a while, and then he goes, "What? You don't go to work and start straight away, do you?" So he just kind of faffs around for a bit.
That's a good one, actually. Yeah, because you go and make yourself a cup of tea, and then you don't actually start working until an hour later, really, and then you work a little bit, and maybe I know exactly.
I just don't believe. I don't believe all those people. Do you know those books where the CEOs say stuff like, "I wake up at 3 a.m. and another CEO goes, "I wake up at 2 a.m. and then this other CEO says, "I don't sleep. I keep working 24 hours. I haven't slept for 50 years." And you're just like, you're all going to die very young.
I know. I need my sleep, honestly. I'm just, yeah, I'm
Mm.
really grumpy if I don't sleep enough. And usually for me,
Hmm.
it's between 9 and 10 hours of like needing to sleep every night. I do go
Yeah.
to bed, kind of earlier or like sleep until later because if I don't have my hours, I just get really, really grumpy.
Do you sleep continuously or do you sleep in chunks?
I am quite lucky because I sleep quite well and I don't wake
Mm-hmm.
up. But my boyfriend, for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, he wakes up at 1 a.m. and then struggles to go back to sleep.
Does he
But
get hungry?
no,
Okay,
no,
I do that. I will prepare myself a full meal and
nice.
and yeah, and then most of the time, luckily, I'll fall asleep before it's done, which might be the reason why I might die in a fire one day, because it's I
I
have
never heard about
multiple times left something cooking, and someone has had to come turn it off. Um, but yeah, I sleep in chunks, and then if I ever, because in the last 6 months or so I've been working from home mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and like today, for example, when I went to go see my agent, we had coffee, and then I came back, and then I just needed a nap. I needed like half an
Oh.
hour just to nap because my body, because I run, so I can do that. But
Mm-hmm.
then even when I exert myself to that, just to get my energy levels back up, and then I need to sleep or rest. I spent months not moving. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but I think that they were saying that the prehistoric man used to sleep in chunks or something like that. I'm not sure about this
Are you
information.
calling me a Neanderthal? Is
No!
that what you're is that what you're
Sorry.
implying? You're like, yes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah.
no. My
You and
boyfriend
every
does
other
that too.
caveman.
My boyfriend does that too.
Yeah.
No,
So
honestly,
what? I'm a
sorry.
caveman as well. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
No, sorry. I
Um
did not mean that. What I
no,
mean
no,
is
no.
like it's something kind of natural, I guess, to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did listen to another podcast where you're talking about, it's a bit nonsense to talk about what people used to do because it's not, because you're talking about the food that they were eating and the diet and then the chat was
Mm-hmm.
about the fact that what's the point to talk about we didn't know what they used to do really, did we? So I
No,
agree with you
no.
on that.
No, like yeah, no, definitely. Like historians will look back at us, and if they look at people's Instagram pages, they'll think that people lived perfect lives.
Oh my
And
God,
if they
yes.
look at their Twitter, they'll think the world was on fire for 20 years.
Yeah,
And if they look at TikTok, they'll think everyone was a 10-year-old idiot.
yeah.
And that's not fair on TikTok. TikTok is the happiest platform.
I
So
don't
so
use it.
far, you know, I
No.
mean, it's actually like it's really good for like lots of celebrities now are on it. Like George Rams, what's his name? George Ramsay, is that the chef? Gordon
Gordon,
Ramsay.
Gordon, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's on it with his kids, and it's. I mean, after a decade of screaming in people's faces, it feels a bit rude now that he's dancing with his kids, and you're like, imagine how many lives he's ruined. Uh, and he's just off there doing the Charleston with his kids.
Oh,
No, it's
I
great.
did not
It's
know
great.
that. Now I'm gonna have to go and check it out because you told
Yeah,
me.
definitely. My sisters all love it. They love it. They love it for the because there's no words, there's no messages. There's just actually there is. It's gotten a bit political
Hmm.
now. Like everything gets ruined in the end.
Oh,
But most of it is still like just people dancing to different stuff.
yeah.
So sorry. Tell me, Dania, how your thing is called Moldovan Abroad.
Yeah, I mean, I love this conversation so far. I think I'll just keep it in the podcast. Be
Sorry.
like, yeah, whatever. Hello. No, hello. Hi. Here is, yeah, so I am originally from Moldova
Mm-hmm.
and I am abroad.
Mm-hmm.
No, I lived in Romania, but Moldova used to be part of Romania, so it kind of wasn't too big of a change for me. But then I went
Mm-hmm.
to live in Belgium. So I stayed in
Mm-hmm.
Brussels for 2 years, then moved to the UK. And then me and my partner went to travel for a year in the motorhome and came back to
Mm-hmm.
the UK. And I decided I don't want to go to my office job because I really dislike office jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I'm going to start doing art. And because I
Mm-hmm.
really love chatting to people as well, I thought, why don't I do a podcast? So that,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
combine art with podcast. So it's been amazing because I'm meeting such interesting people like you, for example. And I never thought, especially thanks to social media, that I can have access to people like you, for example. So I'm very excited and nervous to talk to you. But it's just so amazing with technology nowadays, isn't it? That you can just reach to people, and
Yeah,
it's it's super
definitely.
nice.
It's great, and also it means that your heroes are only one click away. And so and that's not me talking about me, by the way. That's not me
You're
saying
my
you got to
hero,
meet me.
Mo. You're my
No,
hero.
I mean in the sense that I've had like I've been like I got like a really well known comic followed me a few days
Ooh.
ago, and
Ooh.
I'm such a big fan that after I'd had a couple of drinks, I was just like, I'm gonna message them, hey, big fan, and that's all I said. And they went, thanks, I just saw your set, I really enjoyed it. And I went, yeah,
Oh.
and that's all I had to say. There was nothing important to say,
Oh.
but I feel like it's great in that you're that close. You're like 1 degree of
Yeah.
separation away
It's
from
such a
everyone.
good feeling, isn't it, as well, when someone that you
Yeah,
really admire follows you back?
yeah, definitely.
Ooh.
But you're just always scared. Then you become super aware of like what like before the world used to be so big that you could like you can make all your mistakes in one corner
Mm-hmm.
and then move to another corner and you're a new person. But here, I don't think you can ever be a new person. You're
Yeah.
always a continuation of yourself.
It's almost like we
Um,
have access to too much information.
yeah, the world was
And
supposed to be nicer because of the information, but instead, what you got is people whose whole lives are just following other people around and trying to either ruin them or two groups of people fighting over stuff. I don't know. It's a double-edged sword. It's great in that we get to do stuff like this,
yeah.
and it's also the downsides are also there. Like I get to watch. Like, have you heard of Blind Boy?
You what? Sorry?
Have you heard of Blind Boy? Blind
No.
Boy. He's basically a musician, slash like visual artist slash documentary slash comic. But he used to be in a band called the Rubber Bandits, this Irish band. And then
Okay.
now he makes his own stuff, and he's made like a BBC series called Blind Boy Undestroys the World,
I'm
and
gonna
it's
write
very
this down now.
surreal. Yeah, no, it's great. It's a Blind Boy Undestroys the World,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically him taking a surreal look at the reality of the world, like how weird the world is,
Yeah.
and how bad and how things are falling apart. And he has a Twitch channel, Twitch stream,
Mm-hmm.
and he sometimes will just be there chatting to you, and so you can all be there while you're watching him, and you can ask him questions. And this is someone who, like, in a normal world you would never have any connection to meet.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's on Twitch, you can ask him a question and he does see it and he answers you. And in those small communities, it is really good. You should definitely check out Blind Boy. He's really, really interesting and like really smart guy.
I'll watch it after this recording, actually. You made me curious now. So I'll
No,
definitely
definitely.
definitely have a look. Yeah, I was going to say about the social media that, I don't know about you, but I also lived a time when, well, I didn't have a phone until I was 18. And, I had
Wow.
life without having a phone and without having internet. So I think it's harder for younger people who are already born having it. And because
Mm-hmm.
some people get so addicted to it as well, and maybe their self-confidence is not as good,
Mm-hmm.
because as you're saying earlier, all the people trying to portray a perfect life, and then people get depressed looking at other people's picture.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it has a double side, but well, I don't know, probably because I also lived without it. I think I can manage it. I kind of use it to contact people that I really like, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. I mean, thank you for having me. But I don't know. I don't think I could live without it. Like, especially during the lockdown, it was my main source of entertainment and connection with other people.
Yeah.
So because I moved to London just for career.
Mm-hmm.
So all my friends are in the same career as me.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone I know, all my actual like childhood friends are back home in Cardiff. So it was the only way I could keep in touch with them is on stuff like Zoom. We would have Zoom parties.
Mm-hmm.
And like we'd off or Messenger, we'd all like go on group chats or on Discord or stuff like that. So yeah, I think I couldn't live without it, because otherwise you'd be afraid to leave your small world.
Yeah.
If you thought that you would be completely cut off from it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do you know those people who used to, like, in a book, in a story, they'd leave and then 20 years later they'd return?
Mm-hmm.
And people would be like, what happened? And they're like, I've got stories to tell. No one has that anymore. I've been away from my friends in Cardiff for 5 years. They know everything. They are
Yeah.
completely aware. It's like they were there with me in every spot.
Oh, especially that you're kind of a public person now. People can listen to podcasts about you. They can read interviews about you.
No, I don't think it. I'm only the people who know me. I wish. I mean, I want more. I won't lie. Like, that's why you get into. I never understand people who say I don't really care. It's like, I want more people to hear what I'm doing. 'Cause that's why I make it. It's but I don't think it's anywhere near. Like, I get weird stuff. Like, I got this guy giving me advice like this. So like, the upsides is I get to, like, if I look at my message requests, I get to see messages from people like you. So someone who's says something interesting, and it's great to, like, respond and, like, communicate with them. But then I also get weird messages.
Thank you.
Like 4-minute long recordings of people playing me my stuff, and then giving me advice. They're giving me advice on it. They go, this is funny, yeah? Listen, yeah. And then they press play again, and then they go, oh, this is wrong. Sorry, let me go back. And it's such a long recording. So that's, and then I get added to weird, like yesterday, I got added to a weird group chat on Instagram. Luckily, it doesn't let people see if I've seen it or not.
Yeah.
So I can just delete stuff. But I can play you some of it. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen.
What's up, bro? Oh, I should preface all this voice message by saying, I just watched you on...
Such a weird thing. And then that's just the first one. He's just playing me.
Okay, so here's the point. So the ending is, the whole set is fucking perfect.
What a weird thing to do. It's just, I don't know what to say to that. Like it's not. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm still trying to get to terms with voice messages, to be honest. I don't know. I'm not used to it yet.
My best friends don't send me voice messages because they know I won't listen. And this stranger
so weird, isn't it?
has the audacity to be like, what I have to say is so important, he will pause whatever he's doing and press play on this recording. And I wish I had that confidence to send a stranger a voice recording of their own stuff. First of all, let me give you some advice. No, it's great.
Talking about self-confidence and like confidence, for me, you look like a very confident person on stage. What happens inside you when you're on stage? Because, I don't know, you seem like you talk in a very relaxed manner, and you seem like a very confident person. So what's actually happening in your head, inside you? What's going on?
I think when I'm on stage, I'm just like that. I'm like who I was when I was a kid. When you're off stage, obviously all your insecurities and the realities of what you're thinking and saying, and obviously like you'd be a sociopath I'd be a complete sociopath if I acted like that all the time. because then you wouldn't care about how what you're saying makes people feel.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you're on stage and you're allowed to, as long as it's funny, you can say what you want, because as long as people believe that you just want to make them laugh, there's no agenda beyond eliciting a positive emotion. And anything that is against that was never the point. But I used to tell myself when I first started, that London forgets, because like that's why I moved to London, was because it's such a big city that I could fail here constantly and be okay with it. Because I think that's why a lot of people move places. So when I'm on stage and it's a happy. I know some people don't enjoy it, and they like being funny, but they don't like being on stage. But I like every aspect of it. And so I already know what I'm gonna say, and any bits where I feel like it's about rhythm. So anytime I can feel like I mess around, I take that opportunity, and it keeps it fresh. It's the same reason why I guess I wouldn't like going back to the same office every day, but some people can do that for 30, 40 years and find the same joy I'm feeling by going to some town in the middle of nowhere and performing to 50 people, and that will give me the same joy as like it's about what creates that like positive feedback loop in your head. And if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't do it, because I've done loads of things before. Like I went to art school for 2 days. I spent a whole year working on a portfolio. I learned to paint.
Wow.
My friend's mom taught me how to do life drawing, and I built a whole portfolio, and then I got into an
No way. You have to show me your stuff.
I mean, I don't have it in London, but and then the first day was fine, and then the second day they asked us to make shoes out of paper, and I just thought, this isn't what I want, and I just walked out at lunch and I didn't go back. And then I wanted to study law, and I wanted to study philosophy, and I got into both degrees, and then I ended up, the last degree I did was business management. So for me, it was like, I tried loads of things. I wanted to join the army. I was like, so the breadth of what I was willing, I just wanted to enjoy what I was doing. And because I found this fun, I could deal with the boring parts. Like in everything you do, there are boring parts. It's just about making sure the trade-off is worth it. And this was the one thing where I was just like, I can deal with, like, some people don't enjoy the long train rides to gigs. I love it. Some people don't like standing in the cold somewhere. As long as I have headphones in, I'm fine. I tried to sleep rough once when I missed the last train. And I've always done stuff for the story. So the reason why I can talk on stage and I seem like this is because I'm recounting stuff, but that's only because I'm an idiot who makes a lot of mistakes constantly. So like it just means that I get, like, I don't have to make stuff. It's like a lot of times when people are laughing, it's like, oh, that's such a ridiculous thing for him to think. It's something I've done, and sometimes I'll have to downplay the truth because it would be beyond people. People would be like, why would he do that to himself? Why would the other day I was telling people about how I got on the wrong bus stop the wrong way, and I knew 5 minutes in, but I was so sure it would turn around that I stayed on the bus. And I waited, and I got to the point where I was at the depot, and the amount of times I've slept at depots, like by accident, because I would be catching the bus home, I'd fall asleep on the bus, and the bus driver would forget I was there. And it was the one in the Haze, and it would happen regularly enough that I would get out the bus and I had my phone torch on, and I'd be walking around and I knew where the exit was. And it's just like it's just turning those stuff. Yeah, I just enjoy it, man. I don't know. There's no answer that would give a clear thing. It's just like how you paint. Like I loved everything around art except the sitting down and having to do it for too long. Like the long periods of having to, I don't have the attention span. I want things to be finished, And I'd rather just like be okay with things being, because on stage you go on stage with half an idea, and you can work it out there. So it's experiential knowledge. What about you? How do you feel about painting? When did you start?
So, yeah, good question. I was telling you that I was doing office jobs, and in my free time, I was kind of painting because, the first Christmas that we spent together with my boyfriend, he gave me this set, the watercolor set.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I kind of slowly started doing this in my free time. And it's funny that you say about the attention span, because I have the attention span of a 5-year-old. I'm just so bad with this. And I'm not the type of artist that can stay there for hours and hours and paint. I can just do 1 hour or 2 hours a day maximum, because this is, I think this is another reason why I want to do a podcast as well, and other things as well, because I just can't do one thing for too long, repetitively every day. But basically I just started doing it in my free time, and then we went away to travel, and I did it more and more, and started kind of developing my own style. But I'm still learning. I'm watching YouTube videos and stuff on how to paint.
That's great. You going on YouTube and learning. See, I beyond getting to the point where I could get into that course, all I wanted was to be able to get into that course because a friend of mine had gotten in, and I thought I was like, I can do what he can do.
Yeah.
So that was my only thing. It was a competition. It wasn't for unobserved. I would never have done it myself. It was all about me wanting to compete with this person. But with doing stand-up and comedy, I'm funny when I don't need to be. I'm funny when it's actually detrimental to the situation.
Really?
Yeah, it's I've been told many times, you don't have to be funny here, and I'm like, it's not a choice. This is my defense mechanism. And it's when you learn, it's like, it's one of the few jobs, it's any job, like people who paint are usually a mixture of extroverts and introverts, but mostly introverts who they need time to recharge from social interaction, and that's how they can do that. I think most, so like for me, it's like I'm a people person. So I like time on my own, but I like it the same way an introvert likes time outs with other people. I like it for a bit, and then it's just a bit boring.
It's funny what you said about that you're being funny even when you don't have to, because I always thought about the comedians that it is expected of them to be funny all the time, and maybe sometimes because this is your job to be funny on stage. And sometimes I thought that comedians, when they are with their friends or just in normal social gatherings, I don't know, whatever that is, and then there's kind of a pressure of them being funny all the time. But I guess it's the opposite with you. You're always funny anyway. Or I don't know, maybe my preconceptions are wrong about this whole thing.
No, because it's such a varied thing. It's the same way in art that there is like performance artists, and there's people like the YBA, Tracy Emmons, to illustrators, to classical painters. In comedy, it's the same thing. There are anecdotal comics. There are people who thrive off being weird and the odd one out. And so don't actually like being around other people for longer than when they're on stage. And then there are people who are social animals. So that's them. And I think there's a comic called Stuart Goldsmith who was talking about, which is called, he does a podcast called Comedian Podcast, which is how I learned about comedy, like about like you listen to interviews with other comics, and it's a very good for the intellectual side of comedy.
Wait, what was it called again?
So it's called the Comedian Podcast.
I'm gonna look
with
it up.
Stuart Goldsmith. Yeah, it's really good. It's really interesting. So like the latest episode is with a comic called Kim Noble, who is a complete like indie comic, like not really, doesn't do stand-up, doesn't really do filmmaking, does like a mixture of everything. Like he used to record himself while he was a cleaner. He would record himself cleaning people's toilets and just talking to himself, and finding the funny in that. Like, so it can be like it's such a wide church. What was I? Oh yeah, to need to be funny. Like I don't know. I think everyone's different, but for me, it's always been like it's how you define how your worth in the conversation is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there are some people whose worth they always feel like they have to be smartest.
Mm-hmm.
Some people feel like they have to lead the group. Some people feel like there's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about, like, I heard you saying in an interview something about the fact that you actually don't know what will be funny on stage. This was interesting for me to hear, because when you write your gig, or I don't know, when you think about a certain jokes, and I thought that in a way you kind of can predict what's funny and not, and I was surprised to learn that actually it's not like that, and I guess you have to keep testing it on stage. Is that the process?
100%. Because your own sense of humor might not be to the taste of some. Like I used to have my natural thing as I do is very obtuse jokes. Jokes that I find funny because I find rhythm funny more than anything. So when someone's da 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 da, I laugh at that rather than the words or like at imagery. I laugh at imagery. But some people laugh more at common experience. So you see comics like Peter Kay, who's like, garlic bread. Does anyone remember garlic bread? And it's just like people will be like, oh yeah, we all remember. And there's no like, nothing's lower or higher than anything else. It's just striking the correct balance between. It's just like if you want to do commercial paintings. Against if you want to do gallery paintings, against if you want to do outsider art, like they're all for different things, so they all inhabit different spaces, and therefore, yeah, I'm really talking about comedy like it's such a high thing. It really is just people talking about their penises a lot. It's a lot more of that than anything else.
You say that, but then it has such a good effect on people that listen to it, because, you know, people just get on with their problems, but then it's nice to just have a relaxing time listening to comedians. I'm obsessed with comedy. And basically, when I came to the UK, there is a reason why they call it a British humor, because it, you know, I didn't understand it at first, for example.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. There are different types of comedy and of people, and but still, I couldn't get the British humor in general. And it just took me a bit of time. And I started with Michael McIntyre. He was the one that I could understand his jokes. They're a bit more universal.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And that's why some people make fun of him for it.
Yeah.
But it's like he was one of the first comics I liked.
Really?
Like, yeah, he's great. I love Michael McIntyre.
Oh.
I love Michael McIntyre. I love Lee Evans. I love Milton Jones. I love Jack D, Frankie Boyle, Jimmy Carr, all those. I love even the American ones. I know less about American comics, but I grew up on like Russell Peters, the Canadian comic. But I understand why Michael McIntyre works, because when I was younger, I didn't understand every word he was saying, but his body moving around.
I know, it's so funny.
Exactly, and it's like he's a bit chubby, so it's funnier when he's like trying to get through tight spaces, and with Lee Evans, like he had those big ears, and he would be like, and he'd like walk around like a monkey. So like there's this one really famous bit. I think it's famous because it was so good. He's describing being in a caravan, and he's talking about how tight the spaces are. So he's describing like hitting like corners of everything. But instead of like, because he can't like actually, he's not inside a caravan, he's hitting himself with the microphone, and they've turned it up, so it's just like ooh ah, and you just keep hearing. And he was doing it so much on tour that he actually developed bruises on his body from being too intense with they're called actors. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So and he was like, he used to have a sitcom apparently, and he couldn't help but you know when like it was one of those like like on stage sitcoms? So there's an audience watching you, and he couldn't handle the audience not laughing. So in between like them changing the set, he would go up on stage and he'd start like doing his whole act for them, and like because that was his natural thing. And I love those kind of comics. That's why they attract such a big crowd. It's because they it's unfiltered joy. You should watch what's his sorry, 1 second. Man down. Greg Davis.
I've seen him in real life.
That is the funniest.
I've seen Greg Davis in real life.
Have you seen him?
Yes. Oh my God, he's hilarious. And I'm watching all the what's it called? The Master? No.
Master of Taskmaster.
Taskmaster, yes.
Yes, yeah.
All of that. Yeah, I watched so
Oh, you
much
like
comedy.
Taskmaster?
Yes. Do you like it?
Yes. No, it's hilarious.
It's so much fun.
It's when comics are the most silly. Like they don't get a chance to overthink it.
Yeah.
They're just like Ramesh Ranganathan's Backwards a Balloon song. There's Acaster was on it.
Oh my God, I love James Acaster. He's so good.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Carry on. No, please.
This podcast that they have Off Menu with Ed Gamble and James Acaster. Did you hear about it?
Poppadoms on bread.
Yes!
Poppadoms on bread. Yeah. Oh, it's great.
This is so fun. Sorry, continue about Taskmaster.
No. Like I like his stuff because it's so cartoony. I like cartoony stuff. Like I enjoy when things are cerebral, like Stuart Lee, or what's his name? The guy who used to do. One moment, let me just find. Never mind the Buzzcocks. Simon Amstel. Have you heard of Simon Amstel?
Oh yes, I've seen him on Netflix.
Yeah. He has a great. His stuff is very like thoughtful, and it's about like he has this great joke when he goes. He moved into this new house and he had it redone, and in the toilet in the master bedroom toilet, he had them put in 2 sinks because he thought it would bring him joy, but instead they're a constant reminder of his loneliness. So now he brushes his teeth in one and then he cries in the other. And that's like that's such a good joke.
Yeah, also it's like, oh. Wait, just
no, it's so what picture did you end up choosing out of interest?
So it's the one that is on the Radio Wales Becoming Welsh thing.
Oh, awesome! That's
like
great. Yeah, I mean, I picked it. I picked it because it's a weird picture, and I wanted something eye-catching.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think your look is mesmerizing. I just really can't wait to paint the details on your eyes because it's just an amazing, interesting position which I didn't paint before, and yeah, your look is just wow. I have to paint. Yeah,
my friend Victor, who's done every single one of my shot pictures from when I first started to now, which means I'm very comfortable around him. So we did that last photo shoot. We wanted a striking background, and then I would be wearing muted colors. And the whole I really like I love Victor's stuff. You should check out his stuff. It's on @HideThisForMe, and he does a lot of comedians photos. And then there's also there's this really famous lady who used to do comedy photos, but she's retired from doing comedians photos. I can't remember her name. But her stuff is like high art. She does amazing. Have you heard of Lou Saunders?
Who?
Lou Saunders.
Okay, so is that Jennifer's husband?
No. Lou Saunders is she was on Taskmaster as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I
No
misheard
worries.
the name. I just recognized Saunders. I'm thinking it's not Jennifer Saunders. Maybe.
Jennifer Saunders. No.
Okay.
Um,
Lou Saunders. I mean,
yeah.
sometimes I have such a bad memory that.
No, same, dude. No. I'm just throwing names at you and being like, hey, do you know this
Oh
one? Do you know this one?
yes, I do know her. She's a
Yeah.
comedian. Yes, I do know
So
her.
one of her posters, the one for Shame Pig, one of her shows, where she's holding a child, like a baby pig, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is done by that lady. I can't remember her name for the life of me, and it's beautiful. And she always she bends over backwards. She bends over backwards for her.
Let me see if I can find the credits for the photography. Edinburgh Comedy Review. You've been to the Fringe, haven't you?
Yeah, several times.
How did you find it?
First time, great. Second time was a bit harder. I was in a relationship that went up to the Fringe, and you should never go up to the Fringe in a relationship and live together, because it's very stressful. You're performing every day, and emotions get frayed. But the second time was easier technically because I was doing a show called The Pleasance Reserve. And so they paid for everything. Mm-hmm. And you're basically part of this, like you and 3 other comics get chosen to perform every day, and they give you a flat and they give you a subsistence to live on. Mm-hmm. So it's like a scholarship basically for that month. And then this year I was supposed to go up and do 45 minutes, but obviously the world burnt down.
That happened.
Yeah, I mean that happened, right? But yeah, it's great. It's a great festival. Like it's a difficult one. It gets hard in the middle. You should always go up there with the right mindset. I think next time I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna treat it more like I'm home rather than I'm on holiday. Mm-hmm. Have you been?
No. But I do want to. I think I found the name of the photographer. Sorry, I keep switching from a subject to other. Is it Idil Sukan?
Yes, Idil Sukan. That's her name.
Found her.
She's great.
No, I haven't been, and I really want to go to Edinburgh. The way that I pronounce words is just crazy. Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Bruh. Just call it the bruh. No one calls it that, but you should call it the bruh.
The bruh. Yes, I do want to go, but obviously not at the moment. It's hard for everyone, but especially, I mean, I know you're saying earlier you do some Zoom gigs, which is great.
Yes, yeah.
But I think it messed up a lot of plans in general.
Yeah, definitely. Everything live went down, and there's no easy way to say it. It won't come back. I don't think it'll come back this year properly. Like this coming 2021, and I don't think it'll come back the year after. I mean, it might come back. They're saying it won't be until 2022 when things are back to normal all over the world. That's hoping that they find a cure, and then the government let everyone just come back outside, because they didn't do that after the anti-terrorist bills. So it's really about, I don't know. I'm not an anti-masker, and I don't believe in much of the conspiracies, but I do think things aren't being dealt with the best so that they can come back normally. Like recently, the Rishi Sunak, the chancellor, the guy who deals with the economics, said to artists to
retrain and find another job, basically.
Yeah, which is insane. What would you expect? It's a Tory government. Have you been? When did you come over to the UK? And where is Moldova? I don't want to Google it. I want you to explain to me everything.
So it's funny you asked that, because there is a game called Where is Moldova? There is actually a game called, it's a board game. Really? And it's called Where is Moldova? Yes, because I think it's a question that a lot of people are asking. So yeah, someone decided to monetize that question and made it into a game board. So it's a really tiny country. nobody heard about it, so it's okay that you don't know where it is.
Well, no, I
It's
heard about it in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They mentioned it,
oh,
the TV show. So I
oh.
recognize the name,
Name, yeah. So it's
but
in between Moldova. Sorry, Moldova is in between Moldova. Question answered.
it's in the
No,
center of Moldova.
it's between Romania and Ukraine. Here you go. I could say it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's a landlocked country. It's really tiny, around 4 million people, mainly agricultural, but we produce a lot of wine. We are famous for wine. Not too famous, but
Not famous enough to be known by me, but
well,
yeah,
now you know.
famous enough.
It was actually in the Guinness Book in 2007 for the largest collection of bottles of wine in the world. So we're a tiny country, but we drink, man. We drink.
Is it a big drinking culture there?
Okay, so before you listen to my answer to this question, I need to tell you that after we recorded the podcast, I was looking for the link on Guinness World Records just to send Mo the link about the largest collection of bottles of wine in the world, which Mileshti Mich held in 2007. And guess what I found? Apparently Moldova is in the Guinness World Record for... wait for it... largest alcohol consumption per capita. So when Mo asked if we drink a lot, I got it so wrong. Apparently we do. I guess I just thought about me and the people that I know, and I guess that this is about the fact that we drink spirits in Moldova, although I do prefer wine mostly, and we do produce a lot of wine. But yeah, I think this world record is to do with pure alcohol per person. And yeah, I still maintain what I said about beer, that we don't drink as much beer. But apparently we drink more pure alcohol, which I don't usually. Again, I prefer wine, but here you go. I got this wrong, and how wrong did I get it? Do you know what? I guess so. We do drink wine. We produce a lot of wine. But in the same time, like, you see, when you drink, like in Britain, they drink a lot of beer. And I think the quantity of beer consumed, I don't think I can compare it to the wine that we consume. I don't know. It's a bit weird
because... Is it more healthy the way you guys drink rather than like here where it's destructive drinking?
Well, for example, for me, it was weird when I first went with my colleagues for dinner, and then we stopped at the pub when I was hungry and I really wanted to eat, but we stopped for a few pints of beer. I couldn't do that, for example, because I just want to eat. So we mainly eat a lot and then drink with the food rather than just drinking on an empty stomach.
Yeah, that's why they do it. They do it to get more drunk.
To soak up the alcohol.
Yeah, it's just destructive. I think
I know, it's bad anyway.
My friend's fiance is from Romania, and so we've drank like soica and vishnata and stuff like that.
You pronounce it very well. Well done.
I know. And she doesn't like me still. I've tried very hard. It's because I drink all the soica when it's there. But it's like the way they drink. It seems to be like people still function.
Because we eat so much.
Yeah, here they people are just sick in the street. Like when they made the closing times 10 p.m. it just meant people were passing out at 8 p.m. It didn't mean any different.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that did not make sense in my head, but what can you do?
Well, the reason why they've done the 10 p.m. close is because if the government tell the places to close, the pubs to close, then they have to give them help with money. But if they tell them they have to close early, they don't have. Sorry, pardon me. They don't have to give them any help.
Yeah.
So
I think they're gonna start doing it anyway. I think I heard something on the news today. In certain areas, they're gonna start closing pubs and restaurants.
I didn't know that. Thanks for ruining my day.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'm joking. Oh yeah, so this is great news. Never mind the Buzzcocks. I think you'd like this. It's a music show, which Simon Amstel used to host, but now it's coming back and Greg Davis is hosting it.
Oh.
So yeah. I mean, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's really interesting, Moldova. Most wines. Is it the most expensive wines?
I wouldn't say no. If you go to Moldova, you can find really cheap wine. But then if it is, if you find Moldovan wine in the UK, it's quite expensive because of all the taxes and everything. So you can still find it in the UK, but it's around 20 quid, which is quite expensive for finding it in here. But if you ever come across something cheap from Moldova, it's quite a good wine. So I don't recommend it.
I don't doubt that. I've been to Split and Plitvice in Croatia, and while we were there, we would buy this like big bottles of wine, like in plastic.
Yeah.
And it was way better than the stuff you could get here for 4 times the price. So I don't know why the wine in the UK is so bad unless it's expensive. Well, I know why. It's to charge us more money. It's a very easy answer.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
You should definitely try it out. So you like to travel? I'll quickly. 3 more minutes and then I'll let you go.
No. Of course.
It's too cool to talk to you. Do you like traveling?
Yeah, I mean, I like to travel. I like traveling in my own way. I don't like sightseeing I don't like going on holiday. Like I've been interrailing, so I got all the way to Austria. No, not Austria. Sorry. Oh fuck, I forgot. And basically, I got very ill. We went interrailing for a month, me and my friends, and we went through all the way. We went through all the way from Germany to Italy, all the way down, and then caught a ferry to Croatia, and then went all the way back up and carried on the train. And it was great, but I didn't like the sightseeing, the forced sightseeing, like having to, like the ABC, another bloody church. The like just constantly. I like going somewhere and then just kind of living there, and then like seeing the sights in my own time. I mean, my time would take me ages because I once spent a week in Barcelona, and didn't see one thing. Because the apartment I was in gave me free Google Chrome watch on TV, and so I was watching. I got hooked on this Australian TV series, and I couldn't stop watching it, and I wasted a whole week. But I liked it. I liked holidaying there. I would go out and I would eat in a restaurant. I liked sitting like on the street and just having my meal and then walking around. And then I saw the square and I saw all the big stuff, but I saw it by accident. I didn't force myself. And I don't like traveling poor. I don't know. To me, it just has a chip on my shoulder. I have a chip on my shoulder about it because I remember with my friend, we were all interrailing. I was like, "There's no honor in poverty, man. Like, we didn't save up enough, so we would go some days without food." And my friends, I guess they came from middle class backgrounds. So to them, it was an experience, but to me, it was like I'm not.
What's the point?
I don't need to experience poverty. Like
exactly.
But it's. I really like going somewhere and then just moving and living there for a while. And I'd really like to learn a different language.
How many languages do you speak?
I speak 2, and when I'm lying, I speak 3. That was a joke. I can say one phrase in French, which basically, which is, sorry, I don't know any French. But yeah, so I guess you travel a lot, right?
We've just been to Europe with the motorhome, and we'd like it to travel exactly how you said, just taking our time. We don't like to rush into things, and we just like enjoying the place and the food and the drinks, and just take it easy, man.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Take it easy. Take it easy, man. Come to Moldova. Take it easy, man. Take it easy.
You should go to Moldova, honestly.
Oh no, definitely.
After the pandemic.
During
the pandemic.
They're coughing everywhere.
Oh my God,
No.
it's been such a pleasure to talk to you. I know I
No,
need to
thank
let
you
you
so
go, but I
much.
don't want to, but I have to.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been great.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing your work, and seeing how big you made my forehead. That should be interesting. It's a big forehead. Don't be embarrassed. It's a big forehead.
No, I'm concentrating on the eyes.
Don't miss the forehead, though. If the forehead is too small, I'll be offended.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much, dude. It was
Thank you
nice
so
speaking to you.
much. It might take a
Cheers.
few days to finish this painting,
No,
but
no,
I'll
no.
let
Take
you
your
know.
time. It was a pleasure. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you so much for your
Bye-bye.
time. Bye.
Bye.